So I'm going to basically give a tutorial on selection methods in Photoshop.
Interesting.
Yes. So how familiar are you with selection methods in Photoshop?
I'm pretty familiar because I did a course online through Udemy.
Ah,
So I learned quite a bit.
okay. Well, that's good. Well, I will tell you basically the fundamentals of it, the fundamentals, what I know, just for everybody, so everybody knows who might watch it later, who might come in and join later on. And I'll just go through the tools, and if you have any questions, I will answer them if I can. And yeah,
Okay.
so here I go. So first of all, what is a selection in Photoshop? I'm sure you might know this since you took a course in Udemy, Dan, but a selection method in Photoshop basically is just something that makes it so you can augment or change a portion of your project and make it different. So I was showing you the marquee tool instead of something like object select. I don't know if you know about the object select.
Yeah.
All right, the object select tool is something that is relatively new that has been introduced into Photoshop, and it has been really helpful since in the past people had to use things such as the lasso tool, which was really not very accurate. I don't know if you've used that before, but it was more for like drawing things. I'll give you an example of using the lasso tool in something that,
Is that a steady hand?
yeah, you have to have a steady hand if you're going to use the lasso tool. It's more for doing things that you really won't need any kind of precision with. So like if I was going to try to move this bush right here, I would just kind of draw a circle around it, and then I would Control C and then Control V, and then I could move it on my paper, or not paper, but screen. And you can see in the layers menu that there's a whole other layer where this is. And if I press the I button, it goes away. So this layer is this tree. So that is basically that version of the lasso tool. There are other versions of the lasso tool if you are going to try to use the lasso tool, such as the polygonal lasso tool, which basically will make really straight lines. Like if you want to try to
Yes,
get,
point to point.
sorry?
It's point to point.
Yeah, point to point.
Yeah.
It'll just make straight lines. Like if you want to, for some reason, get this little portion of the street. I don't know why somebody would just want to get this random portion, but if you just want to, oh, wrong layer, there we go. And then you wanted to like get another part of it, and then maybe make it so they were driving off into another place right here, you
Fucking
know?
road.
Yeah, make the road a little different, you know? Then you could do that. And maybe to make it a little bit more realistic, you could try to mask it a little bit. You might not have to just because it's really similar, but masking is if you press this button with the thing that is like a square with a circle in the
Yeah.
middle.
I know it. But I don't know. I'm a little bit shaky on masking. I mean, I understood it at one time, but then I forgot because I don't often, things let go. So anything you could provide would be helpful.
Okay, I'll give a little bit of a better um version of showing you masking after this, but basically with masking, it'll just make it so you can, it's like, it makes it so it's a little bit easier to blend things on the page. So it's not as harsh. What you're basically supposed to do is you're supposed to get the brush tool and make this black
Right.
by pressing this. And let's see if there, yeah, it's on the brush tool. And it's in the paintbrush. And yeah, and then what you do is when it's in this color, then you will paint it and it will basically disappear, and you're supposed to make it so
If there's
this,
a layer below.
yeah, it will basically make it so it all this part will be blended in with the scene. And you press on the white part right here instead of pressing on this, which
Yes.
confuses some
Yes.
people.
Yes.
And that is usually how it works. But let's move on. And all right, I will delete that. All right. So I will also teach you about the magic wand tool.
If for moving backgrounds, like a white background, I use it often because it selects all the white and then I delete it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You can use it
Like if
for
you want
that.
to remove that light blue background, use the magic wand tool. I'll select. I think I'll select it.
Yeah, it's true. You could use the magic wand tool for that. Um,
There
and
you go.
it'll get basically all of it. And then for this little part right here,
Just hit it
it'll,
again.
or you could do that. Just
Okay.
you could use this quick selection tool.
Okay.
Um, and then go like that.
That works.
Yeah, you could, but the magic wand tool, you could do the exact same thing that you just said as well. But the quick selection tool does basically the same thing. I don't know if you've ever used the quick selection tool. Have you used the quick selection tool before?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, the quick selection tool does a similar thing. And then if you want to deselect, it is Control D and Command D on a Mac. And so that's how you do that. So there's also select subject, which is really handy if you've got like this, for example. I will press subject select, and then there's all of these different things that you could use. So you could use select color range, you can use focus area, subject, and sky. So those are all really, they used to be harder to use because like it's kind of hard to select a whole sky if there's like branches in the way, or
Yeah.
like houses and everything, or something like that. But the sky is, you can get it and it's all perfect. I'll show you after I select the subject, but yeah, I'll show you select subject, and that is just like that. So there you go. It's all, you can make a second select, a second welcome, and there you go. And let's go down to the layers. I don't know if anyone's ever taught this before, but some people get really confused about their layers just randomly leaving. I don't, it's like on the side here, but some people are like, where did my layers go? And there's a hotkey for that. All you have to do is press F7 on your keyboard and it'll pop right back up.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, it's
Okay.
just, it'll just pop right there and your layers will reappear, and it'll be it'll be just as easy. So I'll show you select sky, and there you go. The sky is selected. And like I showed you before, if there's like a little bit missing, then of course just click with the quick select, and then you can just change the color a little bit. And there you go. You have like a stormy night or something.
Yeah.
You can make it like
Ominous.
stormy. Yeah, make it more ominous. Or you could just copy it, copy the sky and put it in another picture when it looks like a sky. But if there's an option that a lot of people don't really know about, which I actually I used to use all the time until I found out about object select, which is the pen tool. And I used to use this to make all my selections. It's a lot more tedious, especially if you have a lot to do, but you just get the pen tool and click, 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 um, and press selection. That is the selection methods. So I don't know if you know about that tool, but it is an option to use. And then if you want to deselect, of course, control, there you go. And then I will just try to, let's see, try to get a good one for object select, which is right, object select. So for example, if you wanted to just change this girl's outfit color to pink to match the cookies on her tray, you could. So just use the lasso version, and that is selected. It picked up everything that I went around. So since it was since I just like selected this area with this
Right.
lasso tool, I just like drew around it, then I can go to here.
But you use a lasso's tool like 1/8 of an inch around the dress, around her apron,
Yeah,
and selected only the apron. So that's pretty smart.
yeah, you can use the lasso tool, and for things that don't really need a lot of precision, you can just use the rectangle. So it just depends on whether or not you want to be more precise, or
All right.
it is the lasso for object select. So it's,
Okay.
yeah, this is the object select tool. So I'm right here underneath the lasso tool, and this is the lasso tool, and this is the object select tool. And so you just press it, and then up here you can choose the mode, and it's either lasso mode or rectangle mode. And I'll just change her hue to like pink so it matches the cookies, and then that'll be how it looks for then. But if it doesn't really matter, I will press the rectangle tool. Oh, well, the meeting is going to end in 3 minutes, but so I have to wrap it up, but I'm sure you can see how a rectangle, like, see, this is a rectangle, and that girl's dress was not a rectangle. So
Right.
I would just like go like that and it'll be selected.
Are all the meetings going to be in the evening?
All of the digital meetings are gonna be in the evening for now, unless there is like a large cry for people who want to have the digital meetings earlier. But for now, we are having the digital meetings at 7:30 on Tuesdays, and the in-person meetings are going to be at 3:30 on Tuesdays. So
Yeah,
2 minutes until I am forced to get off of the call.
that's fine.
So,
Thank you so much for the lesson. I appreciate it.
yes, of course. Thank you for showing up.
Okay,
And
you have a good evening now.
you have a good evening too. Goodbye.